So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Soccer Hub Talks. As you know, Soccer Hub is an education platform, the online education platform for coaches, scouts, analysts, and for all the ones that wish to learn more about the different aspects of the game. So please visit our page and get to know our courses. So before we start, please introduce some information about yourselves in the chat box and click on the like button to see if the audio and the video are okay. So remember, this is a live webinar, so feel free to ask your questions to our guests. So today we have with us Daniel Fernandes, soccer Globetrotter. I think I can call you that, Daniel. I think you don't take it wrong. And welcome, and thanks for being with us, for accepting the invitation. It's in such a kind way. It's a truly pleasure and honor to have you here with us. So, Daniel,
good afternoon. I'll just introduce myself. Thank you, Nuno, for the opportunity to talk about my journey all over the world, Globetrotter.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't take it in a bad way. It was a great experience, but thank you for having me on the show and to talk about my experience the last 22 years of leaving Canada to Portugal. That's where it all started. Yeah, I really appreciate being on the show. I'm really excited to talk about the details and experiences in every different country. Never really talked about it ever. I'm hoping to get in detail with you about it and passing some good insight for young football players, especially young coaches, people that are really enthusiastic about getting outside their comfort zone and going for their dreams. So, thank you, Nuno, again, and to see what you're doing. It's incredible. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Daniel. As you know, I was already, in touch for a while, and I always wanted to have you here, and so it's. I'm very excited also. And like you said, to go out from the comfortable zone is not easy, and I admire you also for that because you've been playing in many places, and like you said, you get experiences, different experiences. Only if you take those chances and you get experiences, for sure you have many stories also that you might be able to share with us. So as you all know, Daniel is a goalkeeper. So I believe it's also the tallest guest that I had. You are 195, yeah?
Yeah, I'm the tallest one. Yeah, you got that right. 195, and it's the first thing I heard when I got to the national team of Portugal, tallest goalkeeper in history. So I was, then they wanted me to go faster on the ground, I'm good in the crosses, but on the ground it was too slow. So always kept me on my toes to be faster all the time as a thing. But yes, tallest goalkeeper in the Portuguese history, still today, I still believe. It was strange because I didn't look so much Portuguese. My father's Portuguese, and so they're like, where'd you get that height from? I guess from my mother's side, or who knows? I don't know how I got this tall because my father's small. My mother's not that big, also too. But my brother, I have three brothers, and we're all pretty tall. We're all huge.
Okay.
So we don't have really tall people in the family. Maybe on my mother's side, but tall guy.
Yeah, interesting. But do your siblings also play sports or?
No.
Only you. So you also don't have any background from sports.
Nothing from sports. That's the strange thing about it. My reason for coming to play football, soccer, when I was in Canada, Vancouver, Canada, was because I loved the Portuguese national team and I loved the Champions League. I really enjoyed watching it. I lived with many European guys in my community in Vancouver. So we were all crazy about soccer. So our dream was to play soccer. But they said to me, hey, you're crazy. You cannot play soccer. I was 16 still and I was in Canada, 17 still in Canada. So, it's pretty much finished, The guys in Europe, they already start playing on the first team at 17. So, but I was a big dreamer. I was crazy, I'm out of the box kind of guy. I think big, and I know that with persistence and hard work, everything is possible. And so I enjoyed football because of my friends and my father's background. And I always loved Portugal. We used to go on holidays in Portugal. So I said, hey, Dad, can I give it a shot? Let's. He says, you, football? Nah, they should stop. Forget about it. It's better to do construction. There's something. Football, it's only for the Portuguese there. They know how to play. You?
Yeah.
But I worked hard. I met one coach in Canada, and he was a Bosnian guy, and he trained me for 6 months. And I really just trusted the process, and I really worked hard. And I went to Porto there. And my father was back in the day. There was no fences or nothing. You can really watch and connect with the directors. And back then, FC Porto had Coach Elidio Val, that is the junta with Fernando Santos now. And you can connect with these guys through eye contact, through hand signals back in the day. Today, you cannot do that in any clubs, big clubs in the world at all. Zero, not even third division clubs, let's say. Once you get through the doors, it's closed. So back in the day, 22 years ago, 23 years ago, it was a total different story. And we were lucky because I could not just fly to Portugal and say, hey, Dad, let's go watch the trainings. And I used to sit and watch the trainings 4 or 5 days. And we talked to Gonçalves, the guy that's always bringing the players inside the port. Then talk to him, talk to Lidio. They said I could come tomorrow, train, and from there I stayed. But it's not normal, it was not normal. Not normal. I mean, to have that kind of mentality to go out there and to make that happen. Not everybody do, but people do it. And I want to be one of them. I did it, crazy or not. For me, it was just a dream already to be a part of a top team in Portugal. Also, I'm a fan for Porto also too, so it was even more special. For me, that my dream was complete already there. They were talking about other things. My dream was complete already there. But I had so much more to come. I didn't know how much more was to come, and that's when it gets very interesting. From a guy that started football at 17 years old, late career. Without the formation, at school in Vancouver, Canada. Back then, we didn't have no soccer clubs. We just had Tuesday, Thursday, and game. So my dream was complete, and that was the problem of my whole career. But it was a beautiful problem I had, And I'll get on to the rest of the story later on.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for sharing. It's very interesting, and you didn't make bad, no, getting to the national team. And you even been present in the 2010 World Cup, so it's not for many. So it's a great achievements that you had. So you played in 9 different countries. I believe I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong. So far, because you still play. So maybe you are trying to get into the Guinness book or something.
Why not?
Why not?
If I have to do one more to get in the Guinness Book of Records, I'll do it, huh?
Anywhere, So, how many languages, by curiosity, how many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak Greek, I speak German, speak English, speak Spanish, speak Portuguese. I can say 5 good. Dutch, I didn't. When I was in Holland, I didn't learn the Dutch the right way because I had too much my environment was a lot of Latinos, a lot of English. The dressing room was speaking lots of English, and so we didn't need to learn. In Germany, it was really, they really forced you to learn, which it was good, because when you're in an uncomfort zone and you have to learn every day and produce and be productive, especially in learning. And getting more knowledgeable, it's really great. It's really good and later on, So that's why I came here to another country, because I want to learn Italian. I really like Italian, and I thought Italian would be a place where I'd be pushed in another environment where I can learn something. Because in the end of the day, that's what football. I'm really happy that football brought me languages. So 5 languages I speak. If I want a job right now, I can get a job where they need people speak languages, and I can work for them very fast.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
This is why another thing that football, when you're playing football and you travel these countries, it wasn't planned, but my father always said languages are gold. You cannot take them away from you. Once they're inside you, you have it.
That's true. That's fantastic. That's a fantastic message from your father. And also be fluent in 5 languages is not many people also that are fluent in the languages. Even playing the countries doesn't mean that you get to know the language. So it's something interesting from you, to show that you want to learn also, because sometimes, players in the top level like you, of course you have, or you have translations, translators, or you can manage speaking in English, for example. And here I'm based in Germany. I'm in Berlin, so I don't speak German and I don't know how important it is. But I'm not here for long, also. But yeah, it's a hard language. For example, it's not an easy language to learn. Other languages are easier because are Latin based. For example, Italian for us it's easier. But yeah, it's very well done. And like you said, you can get a job anywhere in the world pretty much with all the languages that you speak. That's very interesting. And the other question is like, if the passport.
The reason why I grew up in Canada, we are really multicultural too. So my mindset is different because I grew up with people from India, Sikhs. I grew up with Asians. All my friends were Asians, from Korean to Japanese to Chinese, Hong Kong, everything. So I didn't grow up. I was only I didn't have no Portuguese friends when I was young. Zero Portuguese. I had more of this kind of culture. So I was maybe sometimes in one neighborhood I used to live in back then, 25 years ago. I was the only white guy. So I grew up ethnic. So knowing language, for me, when I went to someone's house, they were speaking another language. They're always like Vietnamese, something. And my mind was going crazy. You know, when you're in that neighborhood, the environment, you want to learn. It's either you learning or they're gonna trick you also, right?
Yeah, that's true. When you are a kid,
That's why I guess I like learning, because if I was growing up in Portugal in one area and spoke one language and had the stability, I probably wouldn't want to learn. So my instability as a young kid brought me always to be more, wanting to learn languages.
That's fantastic. That mentality is fantastic, and the other chance to grow up in Canada for that. And I was going to ask you if the passport still had to have stamps. Did you still have space in yours, or you?
I used to. I had a couple. I have a passport. It's all full, and then I had another one was giving more. It was getting more, and then I lost it, and I was very sad about that. But I have that feeling already. Full book. I was so proud.
Yeah. You've been traveling. So, like we've been talking a bit about. So you were born in Canada. You already told us a bit. How did you end up in Portugal? Because you, like you said, you always admired the Portuguese national team. You also told how it started to you. So you started straight away as a goalkeeper, yeah? Or did you try to also score goals?
I was always. My mother put me to go play when I was young player, but I was not so well, in the feet, very bad. And then after, I think some time later, I went to the goal, and then I started to enjoy it. I think I was around 14. And so then I really started to be a goalkeeper, let's say. I started to be a goalkeeper when I was 14.
Yeah.
And then there was a point that I was good. I was not bad. Like, I think I was good, but I wasn't the best. And when I grew up there, I was even the cut from the best teams. We would have the best team of Vancouver. I tried it, never made it. No problem. So I had lots of setbacks. This is a beautiful part of this story. And then around 16, 17, I started to be a snowboarder. I started snowboarding like crazy. So I would never go to training, but I want to play the game. So I come to Thursday training, and then I think I'm going to play. So I was playing, but I was snowboarding. So the two or three trainings I would miss all the time, but I would snowboard because in Vancouver we have really good snowboarding.
Yeah.
And then the coach put me to the bench, and then I started to think, am I going to snowboard or not? And I told my dad, he says, what you going to do snowboarding? You're going to break your neck. And he told me, because a lot of snowboarders in Canada, we have really good snowboarders, but they're crazy. Yeah, they jump.
Yeah.
And then the helicopter picks you up, paralyzed. You're going to go home paralyzed. So I said, forget about snowboarding because I'm going to hurt myself. Let's try football again. So the coach didn't want to play me no more. So I went to another team, and I went with some older guys. And then I started really enjoying it there again. And that's when I met the coach, and that's when I really started to take off, okay, I want to try this 2 years, this 1.5 year, see if I can do something in football. If it happens, it happens. So that's when I really tried to take it serious. The last, I think, 16 until 17, 15 to 17. But it was a crazy story. For me, it was a story that always I remember about it, and it motivates me anything in life. Because you can decide what you want to become, no matter what. It's going to be hard times in anything you start to build, but you'll get there if you you reflect on yourself if you really have the qualities to make it there, and then you can go from there. Of course, I cannot be a ping pong champion because I'm not going to be good at ping pong, but I want to be the best in the world, but I won't be, you know what I mean? So there's things that, you know, you have to reflect and look at. So that part of the time when I was a young guy, it taught me a lot, you know, and that's when I really decided to be a goalkeeper in that age, like 15 to 17.
That's
critical
interesting.
times.
So you never have that doubt, and you went for it with everything. So you didn't care what people were saying that you were old. So you moved on purpose to Portugal to become a goalkeeper. Was the reason that why you moved to Portugal?
Yeah. Like I said, we went there with my father. We went sitting outside the fence there, looking at these players. Was already for me. For me, it was just I didn't want to get let down, you know. So I was just worrying about what if I don't make this team. Like a lot of kids, you know, what if I don't make this team? They think, what if I don't make this team? 17 years old, and my dream is here, but my mind is going, what if I don't make this team? Then again, my second thought was how I'm gonna be really good in the training, because I can see the training sessions and I can see what I have to give in these training sessions. So in another way, it was a benefit back in the day because you can see the training sessions and you can see what I can apply and what I can give to these players, the way emotionally they were acting and what they were doing also in the training sessions. And goalkeeping sessions are pretty simple to understand at a young age. You just need to dive, you need to make some saves, you have to be body posture, lots of positivity, you know, attitude also too, looking in the coach's eyes, eye contact, showing that you want it. So this helped me to actually look at the training sessions. If it wasn't like that, if it was different, I probably have a problem, because if I didn't know what that environment was like, it maybe be a bigger shock to me. But it wasn't. I went inside there. I just worked hard, and the coach, I said, let's go. We'll keep him, and I stayed. From there, I signed the 2 years there with the youth team, and they wanted to extend my contract in Porto for more 4 years. But I had other thoughts a little, but and then I went on to another team. But Porto for me was the learning block. You know, that's what we talk about. Starting at 17 is very old. Football. I wish I could start at 14 at least. You know, 14 to learn the right things, to learn the knowledge of football, to understand the game, your vision, the culture. I tell a lot of young kids, I said, if you can start to adapt already, go to visit these countries and be a part of the team just for 2-3 months, come back 2-3 months the next year, every year, is very important, because the school and the culture and the vision of every country is different. And Portugal has a specialty of their tactics and the way they see the game is very important to understand at a young age, so you don't get set back later on. So I think about it sometimes. I said it would have been nice if I would have went younger, because then it would be I would have been much more controlled emotionally. My decisions would have been much more. I would have known better things at a younger time. But you know, it made it more special for me. It's more special. That's what it is. But signed the contract, and my mother was crying. My father was like, "Okay, good. I don't need to pay for him no more. Let him go."
Yeah.
Typical father, like they should not let us. They pay in school. They pay him. Let him go. Right?
Let him go. Yeah. It's already enough for him. So we have here a question from Elder, but let me just ask you one thing. That you were watching other players also. You've been watching trainings. Did you have any childhood idols in terms of any goalkeeper, or that you admire more than others? Or
at that time was Vitor Bahia. I grew up with a picture. My room when I was a kid was a like how you say collage. Many photos everywhere. Photos. My room was full from Vitor Bahia, from other Polieta, Paulo Souza. Those were my three guys on my team. Bahia was my idol. I even tried to get his shirt, but I didn't have no money back then. My father didn't want to spend money on stuff for me. So, but I was my idol, of course. Baye was my idol, and I had his photo when he was in Barcelona in my room. I had Romario, I had surf, I had everything. I was, I was thinking everywhere, a lot of my thing, but it was on my idol for sure. And the Portuguese national team and everything. So that's one thing I like to say. These guys that are listening, that's what they talk about now on all these big inspires. You have to see what you dream. Your room has to be what you want. So the collage and all these pictures, all these affirmations are really, really important for me as a young guy. And then, sometimes you start changing, your life starts getting more comfortable and you start taking away. But you should always dream big, And I believe my room there was my church. That little room there made everything happen.
I hope you didn't have any snowboarder there, no?
I did. I took it out.
You took it out.
After my father says, "Hey, don't gonna get paralyzed," you know what I mean?
Because just take it out and put football players. So we have here a question from Elder. So thanks first of all, Elder, and I hope you are okay. So he's a coach from Sporting Academy in South Africa, and the goalkeeper that is 17 and it's 2 meters 10 tall. And you've been told that you have to work with the footwork and the coordination. So did you work also? Of course, obviously the footwork. It's important to work in these days as a goalkeeper. So it was something that you've been focused, and the goalkeeper so tall. Do you think it's that important? Makes sense.
Of course, footwork is very important, right? But I think. As a lot of the goalkeeper coaches, a lot of people you work the hands, you work the diving and this, but to deal with the footwork, and especially the goalkeepers, because they use the feet less, and sometimes they feel a little uncomfortable, unconfident. So first thing I recommend, young guy, enjoy playing with the feet. For me, I learned how to play with my feet, playing beach soccer and foot volley, for example. That helped me so much. But I learned that later on in my career. I'm talking about after I was 28, 29, 30. I learned with other professional players, especially when I was in Germany. Renato Augusto, I was always playing with these guys, foot volley and thing. And then I started to come really. I'm a big believer in beach soccer and foot volley, especially for coordination and understanding the timing of the ball when it comes and how it comes, because you have to control and pass. And in foot volley, you have to pass to a guy, or if you're alone, you have 2 touches, but it gives you the confidence. So what I would recommend is to get them constantly playing some games, either 2 against 2, 2 against 1 in the sand, because they bring a lot of something dynamic, and they have to make decisions and get it always going, not the once every week. I think it's more like 4 times in a week. So, and then of course, you as a coach, you have to bring them the right decision making. Normal goalkeepers, I was bad on my feet. What can I do? I can only control the ball, kick to one side. You always know your guys are going to be open on the side. Or if you give a pass in the middle, you have to know he's alone 100%. If not, it has to be a good long pass in the right direction. But the dynamic, the sand work and everything, it will really help. And the thing is that you really have to use it all the time. You got to be persistent on it at the same time, but enjoy it, because with time it will come. You will improve. I improved so much. I couldn't even kick a ball, and now I play.
You play very well, because I follow. I'm a scout. I need to keep an eye on you also, so I know that you play very well. You play very well. I see often your videos that you make, and you are technique. I think maybe you can become a striker now.
For sure. Yeah. But this is a good question, because it's hard, because a lot of if you haven't gone through it, it's hard for a coach to say he's going to become better. He's going to become good. So with these young kids, they're 17, 16. They miss coordination still. They miss control emotionally, because the coordination and emotional control will play setbacks on them. But you have to know they have to keep them positive that the things will get better. They'll start becoming better naturally. Things will start grooving and they'll start becoming better later on. Because the football is either you're really good at something right now or you're a late bloomer. You understand?
Yeah.
Late bloomer, you
Yeah.
start become progressing 25, 26.
Yeah.
And a lot of goalkeepers get better when they get older, right?
It's
Because
true.
for me, that's for me. And you're in South Africa. South Africa, you got a lot of sand there. You got a lot of places where you can create a lot of instability for the goalkeeper with the ball, and then he can make decisions. So instability, a lot of instability, and a lot of disturbance emotionally. Training sessions will help them in the game.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your advice, Daniel. And it's interesting that you are my. Not so long ago, I had also other players. I had three brothers. I think you played with one of them, with Bruno Alves, and I had Bruno and Geraldo and Julio here, and they
Yeah.
also played volley very well. And maybe I can put you guys playing against each other. But it's also, do you think also, for example, in their case, the jumping skills, it was very important, for example, in terms of playing in the sands, and for a goalkeeper is also important, the jumping, so it also helps you in that aspect, no?
It helps so much, you know. Well, I only started foot volley because of Bruno too. Because me and Bruno, when I went to Porto, it was a Bruno.
Yeah.
And I told him the other day too. We were talking about. I said, "Hey, I thank you so much for getting me so connected, so passionate about this game, and I can't wait." I said, "I can't wait when we start playing together after the career is done, and we got to play together. We got to go some tournaments together." So I'm really, really excited about that. But to answer your question, it helps so much because the more you understand this game and more more you reflect on the movements of football players in the game, you can understand things. So studying the game and understanding why people jump a certain way and so forth. So the jumping in the sand and the timing of the ball in the sand will help you so much once you practice it, because the ball comes in different ways. It doesn't come, sometimes it comes this way, sometimes it comes this way, sometimes it comes this way, sometimes it comes here. And
Yeah.
there's types of ways you have to go to the ball. You know how you move your head.
Yeah.
For a goalkeeper, it helps also too, because sometimes we need to use your head. But for the strikers, for me as a goalkeeper today, when I see the guy standing and he jumps, I know how the ball will probably go. If
Yeah.
he's running more, I see him, it's gonna come different. So, but once you keep on working, when you do this and you've been playing this game for a while, it's the end of story. Let me put it this way:
Yeah.
football, it's very useful, and all the biggest players in the world, they use it. You know, they use it in the game, and the people that know the game, they can read it. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
Ronaldinho, for example. Let's go to Ronaldinho, and let's go to the other guys. You can't. They know so much about how to use that game inside the field that the other
Yeah.
ones don't know because they never played.
Yeah,
But if it
that's
was
true.
another guy that understood, he can defend, or he can pre-visualize. He can understand what's going to happen before. If you
Yeah.
don't know, then you're in fantasy land. Then you're doing bingo. Then you have to defend. You have the prevention defend, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
More,
true.
yeah,
That's great. So getting back to your career and all the countries where you've been playing. So you played, as we mentioned, as I already mentioned, that you played in many countries, and you have a very unusual path in football. Was it your choice? Why did it happen to move so much to different countries? You moved still very young to Spain, and then you moved also young again. Again, you moved to Germany, and then you moved. No, sorry, you moved to Germany first in a very young age, and then I believe that you moved to from Germany, if I remember well. First you moved to Spain, then you moved to Germany, and then you moved to Greece, if I'm correct. Yeah. So yeah. So was that your choice? Was it happening naturally? Did you have an agent during your career, or it was yourself to manage your career? If you can share with us.
yeah. That's what I said in the start. It was. I said something very important at the start of the when we started this interview.
Yeah.
It was a good dream, but the dream gone a dream gone a little different, gone bad. I can say not gone bad, but gone good. You know, I'm really proud of what I've done, but at the same time, you know, if you prepare right, I said when I went to Porto, my dream was complete, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
Because you really have to when you want to go do something, you have to know you're going to do it, and you have to have all the tools. And
Yeah.
so I never had an agent at all. Never had an agent till maybe 2014, 15 for 1 year, 2 years. But I didn't need an agent because I knew everybody.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't need no more. So I just had for one year, and that's it. I let things come naturally. Sometimes I made decisions that for me I didn't make no wrong decision ever. But I left Porto in the right way. Great relationship with Porto. Went to Celta. Uh, I left. I left spontaneously there because I was on the second team of Celta, and then I wanted to go to the Jan Reggeberg, and then I had an agent that influenced me to go to this team, but to another team, and that's where I learned really some. I learned the reality of agents. So I had this agent that promised me to go somewhere, and I think it was Eintracht Frankfurt, and he says, "Okay, you just come." And I thought he had everything coordinated with Celta, and I just left pretty much, you know. And I remember I was talking to Benny McCarthy. He says, "No, you can't just go like that." I said, "I'm going." My agent said, you know, no problem. But I was only I was just 19, 17, 18, or 19 years old.
Yeah.
I get to Frankfurt, no one's there. That guy he picked up the phone. He says, "Look, I think you should go back to Canada, and you know, we can talk later on because can't do nothing." I was like, "Not possible, huh?" I know this is a true story. So I'm there, and in the story, I said, I gotta find something because this is I'll be finished football pretty much. I'll be finished football.
Yeah.
So then I got a contact through a friend of mine, and then he hooked me up with this an agent there. I talked to him. I talk to him still to this day. He helped me a lot. He's a well-known agent in Germany, and he put me in. He got me a deal there, but he didn't know me. He didn't know how good I was or was, because I was really good when I was young. And he signed me to Regensburg, and at that time there was the coach that really loved me, and the goalkeeper was actually the first goalkeepers there. I really had a really good relationship with still today. Heinz Muller, that was playing at Mainz. I don't know, like when I was playing in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
So, but I was signed there for the second team again. So another crazy. Then I want to go on trial here, there, and this agent organized everything. And then that day. Just story after story. Some places that they said we don't want you. You know, I went to St. Pauli on trial. I went to some teams in Regional Liga on trial 1 day or 2 days. Some places 1 day, and the coach was like, no. The other day 2 days, no. This St. Pauli, no. Then I went to Holland, yes, but some other things happened. So this was like, but I knew at that point, I'm like, okay, this is just I'm coming from Porto and Celta, and I can't make these teams. I said, this is something wrong here. There's other things going on here. Yeah. But it was hard. I tell you, it was hard. It was hard. So then I go, then I go back to Canada for national team calls me up for Canada in a tournament in Panama, and I went there, and then I went back home to Vancouver, and then I had 2-3 months. And at this time, I was a part of the Canadian national team with the guys. Tiba Hutchinson was one of the guys there, and it was a good friend of mine still to the day. And then they said, "Hey," the coach said, "You're not going to play for the Canadian national team because you don't play, you know." But the other goalkeepers, I said, "How would I not play if I had an issue, you know, in Celta de Vigo, this and that, you know?" So pretty much, this agent put me off track, and then I met a Greek guy, and then this Greek guy. He helped me get into PAOK, and then from there I was in PAOK for 5 years, and thank God. And then I knew, you know, how important it was to take care of your job, you know, to take care of your job and save the ball, and day in, day out was critical. So that's how I got to Greece. But to make the long story short, I didn't have an agent for me, and then that was an issue. And so if you don't have an agent, you need someone that understands what's going on in this job. You know, nowadays there's a lot of agents, there's a lot of people that that understand what you need to have stability, to have focus, to have the right mindset for years, for let's say 20 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
to make a let's say a enjoyable career, because this once you're inside, you have to enjoy it, have to enjoy it and bring people together and bring communities together, bring the club together, and also that's how I see it. So I never had nobody. uh, it was I made it difficult for myself, but at the same time, I had guys I met with George Mendes at one time. I was really gonna work with. Scolari says, "Here, take George Mendes, and you can go from here." But then I didn't have the communication, and I felt like this, what's going on, and I really needed communication because I grew up always alone. I grew
Yeah.
up always alone. My path was from Canada, Portugal, alone. I didn't speak Portuguese. I came to the national team not speaking, but later on I learned. Later on I learned. But the end of the day, now I understand enough. When I see a 21-year-old player, a 25-year-old player complaining about something that has nothing to do with nothing, I start to tell him, I can see what's going to happen to you, but if you
Yeah.
listen to me, this is not going to happen to you.
That's
When I was in Fernandes, that's what I was doing the whole time, talking to these players. They think I was crazy, but then after 6 months, they come up to me and they say, "Hey, you're right."
yeah.
I said, "That's why I'm older. I'm not here for just
I
to
remember.
pass time."
I remember because I was in a match that we were in the bench as Fernandes against Porto B, second team. I was there, and I spotted that part that you were always like incentivizing your teammates, giving advice and everything, and that's very important. And it's something that with the career that you have, like such a career, probably you were the most successful player there. Like still having that interest about helping your teammates. That's a big thing. That's fantastic. And also a goalkeeper, like you said, it's a completely different position, and it's different the career that you make, because usually a player with 18, 19, 20, it's when the player starts to play regularly and everything. And the goalkeeper needs to be patient, because sometimes they only, like you've been saying, you're not playing in the first teams, you are playing second teams. Usually a goalkeeper only starts to get trust when he's a bit older, like 24, 25. It's rare the cases that the goalkeeper start very young. So thank you for sharing, and it's very interesting what you've been telling. Also that you've been growing, and you've been facing all the challenges, and that's the most important message. And yeah, that's very important. So where it was if you can share obviously with us, so where it was the hardest adaptation, in which country, and which one did you enjoy more to live?
Hardest adaptation. Hardest adaptation, maybe Norway.
Okay, for obvious reasons. No, the weather probably. No, but you come from Canada, no? So
Yeah, but it was really cold there. It was really cold, and with the turf, and the start was hard, because I remember I was in Brazil, and when I came to Brazil direct to Norway, and they train all the time inside, indoor.
yeah,
It's always cold. In Lillestrøm, the team Lillestrøm, they walk to their training grounds every morning, and it was just ice and cold. For me, it was I was never used to that kind of culture. So the
yeah,
first month, 2 months, it was just totally strange. It was totally strange because the football for me is at least rain all the time, or sun,
yeah,
or someplace. Playing 10 years, 11 or 10 years in Greece already, I was used to warm weather,
yeah,
things like that. So it was hard adaptation there. Uh, but other than that, great country. They're really fanatic also too about football. They have a different system, different culture, of course, of looking at football and things like that. But for me, the adaptation was hard there. I'd say it was mentally, for me, it was difficult. And then I had a rough time there. Not a rough time. I just went through an incident where I was outside of football for 1 year. But other than that, it was hard to adapt there because the weather. I don't like so much snow, 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 snow.
now you
So
are in Malta, so yeah, you are you are
yeah,
well
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the heat, and when I have time off, I either want to be in Algarve in Portugal,
Yeah,
or in Greece, Mykonos, or in Brazil, in Floripa. It's one or the other, you know. So from going to Norway, it was a hard adaptation, you know, for me. My ex-wife was from there, so I would go all the time, but that was only for holidays, you know. If I went just a little bit, come back, that's one thing, you know. But for
Yeah.
football wise, yeah. And I have a lot of friends that go there. It's a lovely place, you know, well stable, so forth. But to play football and be in the snow, it's different if you've been
Yeah.
used to, you know,
So,
other cultures.
so your father gave you once again the right advice to not be a snowboarder. Maybe now you'd like to be. You do some surfing or not? Are you into surfing or not so
Of
much?
course, I mean, so bodyboarding. I like bodyboarding.
So it's better than snowboarding these days. So yeah.
But
So
I thought you were saying because hey, you know, you said don't go snowboarding. Why'd you go up to the snow in Norway, huh?
yeah, that's true. So you've been constantly. People think sometimes that a football career it's easy or moving, and of course you have the good, like you said, the good experiences traveling. You get to know pretty much all the world, and that's nice. You were, the football players. Usually they have a good income, but also on the other hand, it's hard to settle down, and especially like you've been saying for 23 years, I believe. So you've been traveling a lot. Of course, in some moments you've been in Greece for longer, but how it is also to face that fact that you need to be prepared. Even with your family and everything, to be prepared to move constantly, and yeah, you're not settled down so as usual. No, so how you prepare that part also.
For me, I learned by myself. So I understood. Then I had to start investing emotionally in myself. You know, because sometimes I felt very hard when I was young, like 19, and this part when I was in South to transition to Greece. I understood, man, it's hard. But what's going on? I said, what's going on? So what I can say is that before, if you don't have support, you have to prepare yourself emotionally. You have to invest in yourself emotionally to be really stable and have your mindset right, you know. But if you
Yeah,
have family and support, that's going to help you. But still, you have to invest in your emotions and keep yourself in the right mindset. What I mean by investing in yourself emotionally is to prepare your mind game, your mindset of where you're going to go and specifically where you want to be the next 10 to 20 years. Because
okay.
if you just go just for the time and you don't have something strategized in your mind, you're going to hit. There's going to be always tough times in football. There's always going to be a better player than you. There's always going to be a new coach that doesn't want you to play. There's always going to be something that's going to be bothering you. So to not let that disturb you, you have to have everything set up in your mind, and you know that that is the greater source of what's it's all about. Because it all comes down to your mindset and how specific you're looking at your future and your details day in day out, right? So I didn't have that when I started. I thought this would be an easy thing, you know. Oh, I'm gonna make the first team. That's what I thought. Like a lot of like people back home, well, I want to make first team. If I don't make first team, and
Yeah,
then when I didn't make first team, I was going crazy. And then I wouldn't make second team, I wouldn't go crazy. Then I wouldn't play. Then I wasn't there. Then they were, oh, well, you know, problems
yeah,
after problems because I didn't understand this was a part of the growth, a part of it being the coaches maturing you and setting you, breaking your skin and making your skin thicker.
yeah,
So they can see that when you don't have thick skin, they can see what if they need to grow your personality. And sometimes some things just come at you the way they come at you, and you have to deal with them. So that's why I say the right mindset that you invest in and you choose is going to be so important for your outcome of your future, but not just your outcome, your your daily thoughts and daily emotions will be. You won't waste energy on things that don't matter. You'll just be focused on what you need to focus on, and you'll enjoy more. You'll enjoy your day, you'll enjoy your process, and you understand this is where I'm going, and that's it. So that's why everybody talks about the mental game and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it. I recommend it, and do it.
It's important for sure, and the commitment is also important. And I can see you are very committed to your ideas. But do you believe also, like you are talking in the mental part, do you think it's also important to be flexible and adaptable to, of course you have a target, and but you can adjust in the during that path. You can adjust, and you can also do it in that way. You need to be also flexible to understand the
Yeah,
right.
yeah, of course. I understand what you're trying to say. I don't think the target is the important thing. I think the day in and day out, the enjoyment of the game, enjoyment of life is very important. So what we have, for me, it was a big problem, and it was a problem. Was like I need to get there, and once I get there, it was I had that problem. Once I got to Porto, that was enough. But that's a
Yeah.
problem. That's the problem. Making it there, that's enough. That's a problem
Okay.
because I didn't grow up in football.
Yeah.
Let's say I didn't grow up in football. I didn't know what the football culture was about. Football for us is life. Now I understand it's life. It's not about scoring the goal. It's how we play. It's how we think, how we move. We have to play from the right way. We have to play our style of football, Portuguese football. It
Yeah.
wasn't just win the game. There's so much of things. So if you're thinking about it, like you're trying to say right now, is that yeah, the target is that's it. It's not about the target. It's about enjoying the game, playing the game, understanding the game, giving the game, and
Yeah.
being the best you can be at that day, at that moment, and that's it. Because then you really enjoy what you're doing, and you know that things will come. Then you have the agents, then you have the other things, and you have a thing. That's another thing also too. And that's when we say you should have a good person beside you in
Yeah.
network in the right way. Period. I don't believe in the target. If you really want to score a goal, you need a good team to score a goal. You know what I mean? You need to pass the ball. So the process, you
Yeah.
have a process. So of course, we want to be there, but we can't go crazy about there. We have to think about all the things in the middle.
Yeah,
The
that's true.
start, in the end, is always the easiest parts. In
Yeah.
the middle is the hardest part.
Yeah. You need to have steps. You need to go through the steps. To get there and to enjoy, like you said. That's very important. And can you share with us about you? You've been telling us that you've been part of the Canada national team, Canadian national team, before you've been part of the Portuguese national team. When and how it was the first time that the Portuguese FA approached you to represent Portugal? What did you feel at the time, and when it was your debut, and what did you feel when you put the Portuguese shirt on, and you went to the pitch?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll start with Canada. Canada, there, when I was in Porto, I think Porto, they asked me to go out, and then I went. And long story short, I had a fallout with the coach. He promised me a lot of things, and I believe in a man has to keep his word. What you say
Yeah.
is what you keep. And that's it. And so he didn't keep his word, and I was really disappointed in him. And so I said no. I don't. I go forward. So when I went to Pauk. This was right before I went to Pauk. And when I went to Bulk there after 1 year, a year and a half, I was starting playing as number one. And the Portuguese national team called me. I think it was Augusto. What's he's still working in the thing.
Uh,
Fernando Augusto, November.
Agostinho
Augusto.
Oliveira. Agostinho Oliveira.
Augusto Oliveira, great man, great. He think super nice. He called me up. We played against Italy, and I met a lot of colleagues I met from my national team. A former goalkeeper with me, also Bruno Val, and it was
Yeah.
Almeida, a couple more other guys that I forgot, but Morelos was there, whatever. End of
Yeah.
story. We played against Italy, and then I got the call up, and I played that game. And Agostinho Oliveira told me, he says, I never forget. He says, "Don't take this like a banana split. This is not a banana split." And I look, and I was, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna take it. I remember, I never forget that because it's so true, because you think you come into play for playing that national team was more important that game than playing on the first national team. Because
Yeah.
if you don't play well, you know,
Yeah.
that's it. I was well prepared that time. I was good. We won the game. For me, it was coming from playing in Pauk at that young age. I was really promising. Was nothing was bothering me at all. It was just about winning, and that's it. We had a good team, and we won the game 1-0. I did have I had a few saves that to do, but it started from there, and yeah, then a lot of things happened quick. Then 6 months later, I went to the first team in Scolari. We had a
Yeah.
really good connection with Scolari. Scolari, he didn't speak English well because my Portuguese was really bad at that time. Today it's really good. That's a pity also too, because if I knew, I would have had a Portuguese coach, teacher at my home. Because how important it is to know how
Yeah.
to speak Portuguese and be a goalkeeper. It doesn't exist to be a Portuguese goalkeeper and you cannot speak Portuguese. So
Yeah.
it was. But at the end of the day, great experiences seeing coaches like Scolari and his his technical staff, being around those guys at that time, and that was another generation. Also, too, even though Cristiano Ronaldo was there, Nani and Corez and some guys there. But
Yeah.
it was at a young age. What can I say? Even if I passed it young or I would pass it older. Some guys go to the national team as a goalkeepers when they're 34. I
Yeah.
went a lot when I was young at the 20 ages. So uh, yeah, for me, I'm proud of being in games that I could still remember just sitting on the bench and watching at that age. And having the confidence from the players, just to be there was amazing. The different exercises, the different ways of people were talking and acting. You learn something different or see something different that I still use to today. How important is the way people act as big professionals.
Yeah.
Especially decision making on the field. So it's incredible. It was incredible, and it was too fast for me when I was young. I wish it was sometimes a little later than so soon, because
Yeah.
for me leaving Canada from snowboarding at 17 after 4 years, 5 years being in a national team, it didn't make sense at all. Yeah.
That's crazy. Crazy story, But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's really like it's just that's why I said like so there. That's the thing when I talk when players, you really have to prepare yourself for everything unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I believed in myself. I believe I'm gonna be there, but I wasn't prepared for myself to be a how you can say be a leader. Because if I was a real true leader at that moment, which I have a leader things values inside me, but there I had to make a decision. Hey, learn Portuguese is the best possible. Learn things. And then that's why I say the most important thing in the day is to be more knowledgeable, because knowledge is power, and then transmit that knowledge. Because if you don't transmit that knowledge, uh, you didn't learn nothing really.
That's true. That's true. That's why I'm very, like it's very interesting to be listening you. It's very nice, and that you are sharing here with us. That's fantastic. And you mentioned also the mental part, and now joining with the national team. At some point, you were the third goalkeeper in the national team. What is great, it means that you are the third best goalkeeper for a country. It's already a massive thing. If you are second, also, but people usually see only the first. But mentally you need to be also strong mentally to understand that you are called, you come from for example, you play in Greece and you come to Portugal, or you're going to travel with the team, and it's very very unlikely that you are going to play. Yeah. So how do you deal with that? And the chances of playing are very low, but how do you motivate yourself?
For me, I always thought if I go inside net, do what I know to do. Give the game what the game needs. Catch the ball, know all the situations in the game, and do the right thing, make the right movements, and stick to the game. Nothing more. Everything outside that's happening has nothing to do with what I'm gonna do. So that's all I think all the time,
Yeah.
and that was always. And I still use that still to today. Wherever you play in the world, you have to give it the game needs, and you have to make the right decisions. Nothing more.
Yeah.
Of course, when you have personalities and you have let's say not pressure, but you have objectives that are really, let's say pressure. If you let that pressure get you and start thinking about, then it's game over. So the main thing is just to think about doing the things perfect as you can, and you know how to do it. Goalkeepers train every day to save the ball right, left, in the corner, upper corner. They know how to do it. So wait for the ball and go to the ball,
Yeah,
and be a leader, be present. That's all I was thinking. If it happens, take the chance.
and you are prepared. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the situation, for example, if you are called to the national team, for example, and you know that you are not going to be playing, you're going to be the third goalkeeper, for example. How do you deal with that? Uh, what what is your motivation?
Look, I was always disappointed, to be honest, when I was disappointed. But at the same time, I was happy when I left, because being a part of the national team, I was motivated when I got back to my club to be better. To become better and go to a better, maybe a better club, and to play. When I went to the that year when I went to the World Cup, I only played 10 games in a Greek team that was falling down, and I had a phone call also from Villa Boas to go to Academic Coimbra,
Yeah,
and they wanted me to go to Coimbra, but I chose to go to the Greek team because I knew the Greek culture, and I knew that I could save all the balls, and everybody told me I was crazy. So that move was for me to go back to the World Cup. My goal, my dream was to be on a World Cup as a kid. So this is another thing, just dream, it was not a reality, because I'm not a big follower about dreams. I'm not a dreamer. I'm a reality kind of guy.
yeah,
It is a dream, but reality. If you can see yourself doing it, do it. Like what everybody talks about. So I went to that team. We had 10 games left. I had all my friends call me and said, "You're crazy. You're gonna be finished football next year for sure. You're gonna be playing in the village here." I said to the guys, "Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. You guys are not my friends."
yeah,
And I remember the goalkeeper was one guy from Shakhtar Donetsk, Kovalensky or something like this. He was playing many years, and he was just cutting his contract from Herakles in Greece. And I said he looked at me, and he was a scary guy. He was bald head, strong. He was Champions League, he had a lot of experience. And he looked at me. He says, "You're not normal for coming here, huh? You're not
yeah,
normal." And I looked at him. I looked at him and said, "I don't think you were my thing." I was like, I think he just wasn't ready for what he signed up for.
yeah,
And I was ready for what I signed up for, because after playing in Bundesliga and having some experience there, and having I think Bundesliga, there's no league in the world that compares to German league. The
yeah.
power and the same, especially for goalkeepers. If you play in the first division in Bundesliga, you can play anywhere in the world with your eyes closed.
That's true.
Period. Nothing. So for me, Greece was a cakewalk. So I went there. I think it was the 10 games. I only let 5 goals in, and I took my spot. I took my spot. But I saved everything. I played well. I took the team out of the going down, and I was a club hero in the club. And then I got a phone call from the national team, and I wasn't expecting it. But in my mind, it was everybody was saying that I played it was so well. It was an all star in the Greece and all this stuff. So I thought that was my motivation. Uh, that was my motivation for in the national team. Even though if I was going to be second or first or third, everybody wants to be a part of the national team and always want to play. I always
Yeah,
supported my colleagues when I was there. Beto, Eduardo. When I was there, I remember when Beto played his first game. I was standing beside him, and he was, he has his own craziness inside him, and he's getting all ready, he's getting focused. I never forget that day was very important for him, important for everybody in Portugal also too. For even Eduardo, every game is so important for our country and for individually, collectively, everything. Football is just born like that. That's the beauty of it. So, but in the end of the day, of course, I want to have an opportunity.
yeah,
I never got my opportunity. I did get an opportunity actually, one or two when I came inside.
yeah,
Uh, and I'm grateful for totally. I'm
yeah,
totally grateful for that. So, but at the end of the day, what's about playing football? It's about being the best professional you can be, and not thinking about those outcomes, those things about playing. The
yeah,
main thing I should have been talking about was being the best as what I know how to do.
yeah,
Not about thinking about that and that. And that's where the things. are different. If it was today, what I know was totally different. So and that's from my coming in late in football. That's not from just thing. That's just learning late, you know. So you
Yeah.
gotta learn it. You gotta do your homework. You gotta do your homework and get get knowledgeable in football.
Yeah, it's true. And also being part of the team, it doesn't mean that if you are not playing for sure that you made also the difference in some of career, and then also you passed some good important values to them, good knowledge also. It's important that you were there for sure. They also been learning with you, and because especially the goalkeeper coaches and also the goalkeepers, usually three goalkeepers, it's like a micro family inside a family that is the whole team. So do you think how much important do you think it is actually to have a good environment between I wouldn't say, like, of course, in an ideal world, you all will be friends, but you are competing for a position. But how important do you think it's to have a good spirit inside within the goalkeepers?
Yeah, this is all. This is very important. Of course, you have to have competition, and but you have to have respect. You have to have ideas when things need a little twist. You need the information, the input of the goalkeepers. Of course, you should not have the bad vibes. I think that you have to have the total support, especially on national teams. On national teams, you need everybody to really push for everybody. That's it, nothing more. There cannot be the other vibe like that, because everybody's gonna get their chance. So there's no time for people pushing this one around, not especially in the big national teams. I don't believe in that. I really believe everybody works, and if everybody's good, the time will come for everybody. You can see this like what happened with us in the European Cup when Portugal won. We had great characters. The goalkeepers there, all good vibes, good energy. Everybody's supporting, and they know how important it is to be a European champion. If it's Rui playing or if it's anybody playing, everybody's a champion at the end of the day. They fit a part of something good. So for me, personally, I would love to know and love to work. If I was a coach or if I was a goalkeeper coach, I would love to see determination and in my goalkeepers and united goalkeepers all together that are working the same goal but are pushing themselves on the field. And then when it gets off the field, it's game over. When the game starts, that everybody's pushing for each other, and you can feel that, you can see that in people's eyes, you can see that people's emotional thing, and that's so important. And if your time is going to come, it's going to come. And these guys are all playing in the top clubs in the world.
Yeah,
They make their money from their clubs. They don't make their money from the national team. And if they want to make even more money from their clubs, they need to win a championship. And to win a championship, you have to push for each other. You can see that Germany. I don't know if they won with Kahn and Lehmann when they're fighting. I don't remember. I cannot say, but a good example. I'm just thinking about it now. Now Neuer and these guys, they have this political thing, but it doesn't bother them. They keep on doing their things. It is not like how it was back in the day when they were like, oh, this attitude. This attitude, okay, but that's old school. You really have to know how to balance it out and you balance it out and work properly towards your teammates, because, okay, for me, it would never pass if I was a national coach for a top national team,
yeah,
especially goalkeepers, because goalkeepers need stability. They need to feel, they need to feel all the power and energy as they're all great goalkeepers.
yeah.
The mind, if the mind isn't right, they can never play, you
That's true.
know?
Yeah. So it seems even in scouting, when you do scouting for goalkeepers, for example, I think you need to take in consideration not only the quality of the goalkeeper. You shouldn't choose like three goalkeepers only because they are fantastic, but also you need to take in consideration. I don't know if you agree or not, but I believe that you need to take in consideration the relationship that they can have between themselves. Like that part. It's important. Also their personality. Also, of course, all of them, they want to play, but it's important to have a balance and to have that spirit. I don't know if you believe that is important, because in the end of the day, it will make the difference. Even the best ones, if they are feeling comfortable there, they will perform better. So do you also agree when you choose like a goalkeeper's team, that is important also to have in consideration the personalities and the way that each other is?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's one of the first things I look about, even though when just talking about players and everything is about personality and how they think, how how they think, what they do in their spare time, and how they react. All these things, that's why it's so important for players to always build up their personality, be example. It's all about being a leader. Football players are leaders. So a coach wants a leader. Coach doesn't want to coach people all day long. He wants to have leaders. He wants to have the right pick. He doesn't want the right pick, and he wants to feel so powerful that he chose these amazing goalkeepers. And so when you're choosing goalkeepers, you're thinking in the right way, and that's how I come to leaders. And I tell the young kids, I said, every coach wants a leader. So start acting like a leader. Start doing things like a leader. Get outside your uncomfortable zone. Speak when you need to speak. Have personality, and always learn things new and new. So and goalkeepers, they have to be leaders in the back of the net. They're not just in the back of the net, in the dressing room, and when things are rough. They don't need to speak so much, but they can show it. So leadership from goalkeepers is always important. But these traits you said they're key.
Yeah, that's key. And I think if you allow me also, to give my opinion, I think the goalkeeper is very important also, like you said, to be a leader, because the defenders, when your team is being pressed, if you look behind and look back, and behind you is a guy, not only 195, but also a leader. It's like when you go to the war, you look to a guy that is confident, is there, and he gives you trust, and your performance will get higher. When you are in a team that is being, I don't know, if you are winning the game in the last few minutes, you are all the other team is attacking a lot, and you look and the goalkeeper doesn't pass you that trust. Sometimes it's more important that part than actually the technical part, or it's also very important if you look back. It's the same thing with the defenders for a goalkeeper. If you know that you have good center backs in front of you, you'll feel more confident. So I think that's also important. So Daniel, we are almost finishing. So just a few more questions. We could stay here long. For me, it will be a pleasure. So that's some short questions now. So which country do you believe, in general, of course, obviously, and there are also generations and times, which country you've been in many? So it can be one of the ones that where you've been, or another one. Which one do you think it produces better goalkeepers in general, in terms of quality and quantity?
I think Portugal at the moment is producing a lot of great goalkeepers. Especially you can see in Maximilian now.
Yeah.
He's doing great in Granada, but we have a lot of good young goalkeepers I can see that are eye openers.
Yeah.
Because I think Portugal really invested in the last 15 years, or say 10 years, 15 years. So, but a lot of countries also too. There's competition all over the world. There's a lot of good goalkeepers. So I think the goalkeeping in general all over the world is better. Okay, now all goalkeepers have to play better with their feet. It's more demand.
Yeah.
But I'm always proud of my country, because we're a small country, and the goalkeepers that what we have and what there are that are great are good. They're really good.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then of course you can complain with Germany. Also, Germany always produce, and they have I don't know who's the thing, but I know Germany always produces goalkeepers because they're a goalkeeping country. They love their goalkeepers first before anything else.
Yeah.
So this is normal. So what you manifest and what you really want will come true. And so Portugal, they took that because we didn't have a great name for goalkeepers in the last before. Outside of Portugal, let's say outside of Portugal, no one would talk highly. But now things change. There's different words outside because we invested in it. We put our thoughts to it. We brought coaches really did their best, and now you can see we have a handful of young goalkeepers that are really good, and they could have promising careers for the next 20 years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Luckily, yeah. So, which in terms of strikers, which one was the striker that you had to face that was giving you more nightmares, or at least was giving you harder times that you played against?
I think it was Olic.
All it. Okay. Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw a guy run so fast. I think it was I was in Hamburg there. We lost 3-1, and I never saw a guy run so much and so hard, and I never saw that in my life. But he was a typical beast. I stopped in the field and I was telling my friends, and look at this. This is not normal. It was not normal.
Yeah.
And that year when I played all the games there, but I played 3 times against Hamburg,
Yeah.
and Olish was always the beast. But that game was something out of the world. I can never forget. But I always liked him as a player because he was just a hard worker, a typical.
Yes. It was,
He
yeah.
wasn't the guy like striker. He could see him all over the field on the left, right, center. But
Yeah.
his work ethic and thing for me, he scored 3 goals against me that game. But I saved about 5 of his shots that game. We could have been no. He scored 2,
Yeah.
and no. For me, it was always example.
Yeah.
So it's an example because the striker sometimes he's really hungry, sometimes he's not.
Yeah.
But
And
he's
then, yeah, he's a good example. And yeah, he was a great player, like you said, very, with mobility, he was everywhere. Like you were thinking, he was all the time moving, and that's hard even for the defenders and for the goalkeepers. And
yeah. You don't know how he was gonna shoot either with his toe, with his thing. He didn't know what technique he shoot. You don't know how he would shoot the ball.
yeah, you
His
don't know.
knees. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the opposite. Which one? What's the striker that can complain more about you? That can say, "Come on, Daniel was always giving me a hard time. I couldn't score a goal, or I was always struggling to score a goal."
But in Greece, there was a lot of guys, but I was one guy that he was playing in Olympiacos, and he always tried to. He was not a striker. He was not
Okay.
a striker, but I bother him all the time. Uh, but I don't know. I forgot his name. But he always took penalty shots. In this game we playing in Aires, and
Okay.
it was supposed to shoot Paulo Costa, the Portuguese guy. Paulo Costa was to shoot, and I
Yeah.
said, "My God, if Paulo Costa is going to shoot, we're going to have an issue here because he shoots pretty good." But the other guy took the shot, and I had a friendly match against this guy before, and I saved the shot. So I saved this penalty shot,
Yeah.
and then again he was playing he was playing another game. We had a friendly match. I saved this thing. So this guy, he was my guy, but I don't know. I forgot his name. But I think he's still playing in Olympiacos still today. He's like a
Okay.
captain and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
there's no real striker that I played. I have him in my pocket. I think I have goalkeepers in my pocket. When I played against certain goalkeepers, I win them. When I look across the field, I said,
yeah.
"This game I'm gonna win." I have those kind of things in my head when I'm thinking. I don't think about a striker because a striker for me is not important because I think the goalkeeper just has to save the shot. You
Yeah.
understand that? So you save a shot because if you give too much energy to this guy, he's
Yeah.
gonna score it to you. He's gonna get you. He's gonna see he wants to score against you. I want to save his shot. Don't think about because if you don't care, he's gonna get more crazy.
Yeah.
So that's how I think. Once you start going competition with these guys, I don't believe in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
just do your job and then
Yeah.
try to don't let them get the thing. That's my opinion. I don't know. I don't.
But it's interesting. You touched the point. So, do you think also there is a mind game between goalkeepers? The way you look at each other when you go inside the pitch. So you try to win already before the match starts, like that confidence. Have you ever felt like a goalkeeper that was intimidating, or a goalkeeper that you admire in the way that his presence on warming up, or his presence like inside the pitch only by his presence?
There's goalkeepers that they're cold. They're top. They know what they want to do. Then there's goalkeeper. Then there's people. There's people you can move their psychology. So when I see someone I can move their psychology, I'll go move it.
Yeah.
So then I'll start. I'll get them loosened up. I want them comfortable. I want him comfortable. I wanted to get his mind off target, because sometimes they don't have enough experience to be in just flowing. They're not in the flow stage. They're fighting. They're fight and flight mode. So, and then there's some goalkeepers, they don't really care about making a great game. So if you get them really relaxed, okay. If the guy shoots a great shot at him, the ball will go inside. But for a great goalkeeper to make a great save like Buffon in the World Cup finals, he's not just enjoying the game. He's enjoying the game, but he really wants to be the best. And
Yeah,
so, how am I going to take him off his focus? I
yeah,
got to really talk him up. I got to really do so. So think about, you can ask your question yourself. How am I going to take Manuel Neuer off his focus before a
yeah,
game
yeah,
as an opponent? Think about it.
yeah,
You don't know. You have to really research on how you're gonna do it. So imagine, so it happens in all levels too, right? So I go to the game, I'm really focused, and my team is like, they're like, they're too much joking on. And I know that I need to get a zero. I
yeah,
need to be. I know myself. I need to be fully focused. And when these guys start joking with me, I'm like, I can joke 1, 2 times, but I have to get back in my focus lane. I gotta
yeah,
get there, because
yeah,
that's where I need to be to have a great match and to enjoy the game. I'm not
yeah,
fighting that match. I have a great match. So everybody is different. So if you can find those ways, and the mess around psychology is very important, because this is an emotional game. It's about emotions.
yeah,
That's why they talk. That's what they say about there's players that play good in training and they don't play good in games,
yeah.
because it's all about psychology and the way
Yeah.
they're thinking and all this stuff. So it's very important. It's a part of the thing, and people do it all day long. That's
Just
all malandragem, we say in Portuguese.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So my curiosity, because these things come along, and obviously, have you ever tried, for example, in the set pieces, especially corners, for example, have you ever tried to do like some kind of psychological games with or the striker or the center backs that come to try to score the goals? Were you telling them something, or you had any? Well, you still play, so maybe you cannot reveal everything now, but anything that you try to do like psychologically to show that you are
No, I don't really. When I was young, I started thinking about those things, but at the end of the day, it's like I said, give what the game needs, do as best as you can, try to do as perfect as you can. If it's set pieces, be present and do what you need to do best as you can. You've been training all week, and nothing should be the distractions. The people in front of you are just the distractions. If the ball is meant to catch and go out, it should be your ball. So we just need to focus and get the
yeah,
ball and be ready to save. Of course, if you want to talk before to joke around with some guy, yeah, you can do that. That'll work. It could work. It could really get a guy off his game. It could, but at the end of the day, a goalkeeper has to do his job and do what's needed at that moment. And if he doesn't do it, and if he doesn't do what is needed at that moment, there'll be consequences maybe for him later on. He
yeah,
doesn't play because he wasn't focusing on being perfect in that situation. We have to focus on giving what the game needs and be perfectionist in those games. We have 6 phases in the game: 5, 2, 3. You do really nothing in the game, but you got to be concentrated.
yeah. That's key. That's very important. And you already gave some advice. So to finish, you are currently playing, like we said. Do you already have any plans for when you will stop? I hope it's not soon, but you can, like Buffon is still playing, so you at least need to play until the same age as Buffon. So do you plan to stay to keep linked to involved in football? Do you already have an idea? If you can share with us, obviously, what would you like to do?
No, I'm gonna be linked in football 100%. Right now, I don't have a time when I would stop football, but I'm just gonna complete my B license, and of course, I would like to be a part of good coaching staff. Maybe start getting good experiences in a good level. If that's an opportunity comes up, I have some talks with some friends that are in some top clubs that we have a
Yeah,
word together. That would be something really interesting for me to jump forward in the right direction in football. And then, of course, if it's coaching, if it's agency, if it's whatever, the whole purpose is to lead people and help people in the right direction. Nothing more. The football needs good influences, and and teach people like me that didn't have nothing, and that's what I want to give back in football. I think football is just about helping and nothing more. It's not about the big picture. It's about the base, about the foundation, And so players can play better, and they can be mentally more stable, and they can enjoy the game. And then when they can enjoy the game, people love what they see, and it's a great show. I think it's the most beautiful show ever to be ever. So I'm gonna be linked in it 100%, and I have some other plans also too with financial literacy for people around, and something I'm creating also too. So what does that mean? That means just to teach young players how to do with their finances and what they should be doing, and show them what they're doing, and they can answer their questions. They can answer the things themselves by the information I'm showing them to where to go, so they can lead a more prosperous life with better financial literacy. That's very easy. You don't need to go to school to understand finance. And so from there, when they're playing football, earning $1,000 to $1 million, they can make the right decisions, and they can help their families. And when they're finished football, they're mentally stable. They're not going to be going through depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. I think that's a very important thing for me. It's a huge thing, and I can see football is well needed, especially in Portugal. In other countries all over the world. I think Germany is a great country that has more information on the financial literacy, but there's a lot to be done with that, because in the end of the day, it's all about mental health and waking up every day to wake up to win and become and grow day by day.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing it. And I'm sure that whatever you choose to do inside football, that you will be very successful, because you've been gathering also all those experiences, all that knowledge, all the languages. So I'm sure that you will bring all together, and you will deliver to football and to either to players, whoever you decide. I'm sure that football needs people like you. So thank you so much for being with us. I hope you enjoyed as much as me, and I hope you all guys you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And yeah, see you next time. I don't know if you want to leave a message to the people that are watching or going to watch later.
Hey guys, I just want to say dream big and be persistent of your goals, because I have a thought in my mind all the time. If persistent water can always even cut rocks, so that thing keeps staying in my mind. So keep on doing your thing. You will be, the day you think you're not going to become that good, you are going to become good. So keep on learning, be knowledge, dream big, and be specific about your dream. Write it all down, get it all down, and go for it, because it's all up to you. It's all up to you. And I gotta thank you, Nuno, also for you and Soccer Hub here making this talk. I really loved talking about what I could describe. I hope everybody can hear, but you're doing a great job here, and I really appreciate you and your team. And I'm gonna watch this again, and maybe later on 1 year we can do another interview and talk specifically about something.
You are always welcome. Doors are open for you. Yeah, for sure.
And anything I can help you on, I'll help you also too. But I really appreciate you, and I hope you a Merry Christmas to everybody else also out there, and a Happy New Year's, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Thanks, guys, and we finish with these wise words from Daniel. So take care, be safe, and Happy Christmas. So Happy New Year. Bye. Take care.
Ciao.